Yo, what is up? Welcome to Science HD. You clicked on the video. Congratulations. Next step, go grab a snacky snack. Enjoy the rest of the ride because you're about to watch a past live stream of Science HD. My name's Nolan. Rose is my co-host. Almost always. Sometimes I'm alone, sometimes not. So, thank you for checking us out and check the bio and links in the bio and descriptions of videos and enjoy. Yo, what is up? My peoples from all across the nations, mainly the United States, but there's Canadians out there and Swedes and other people. Regardless, we're all one, human beings, and I just want to see how's everyone. Whether you're watching this live or in the past. Technically, it's all in the past, but the closest thing to live and present or in the past. If you're watching from the future, what is up? How'd you do that? I want to know how this chat is doing. I hope everyone out there is doing good. We have a first-time viewer. His name's Tim. And, yeah, this mic stand's moving up on me. I don't understand. Okay, first of all, before we get into science, I don't understand this mic stand sometimes. I don't like. So, hope everyone's having a good day. Let me know if you can't hear me when it's over there. I always feel like this microphone needs to be right at my mouth. It actually has poor mic quality. When it's that close. Wait. Is his name Tim as well? How many Tims are in chat? How many Tims are in chat? What the heck? I never knew his name this whole time, so I won't say it because I don't want YouTube to be stalkish or whatever. Since all of our things are on YouTube, so check out the YouTube if you haven't. If you're watching this on YouTube, what is up? Thank you for checking us out. No, I knew your name. I didn't know the other person's name. I'm trying to be really vague, so it sucks. I'm about to just say that your usernames. Anyways, that's why I said Tim. It's because of you. Sorry, I'm talking to chat. I always try not to talk to chat, but I also love talking to chat, so it's like a win-win or a win-lose. But regardless, I have some cool stuff today, and I'm alone. Rose is on vacation. She is not even in the country right now. So, there's no chance that I was doing this with her this week, and I wasn't going to take an off week. So, I think this is my second time doing it alone, and I had an animal special last time. But I actually think, okay, that's pretty good. It's your favorite North American megafauna. I love moose too. That's a megafauna. That's cool. Welcome on in. I totally forgot what I was going to say. Oh, yeah, this episode's not a special. It's just a regular episode. There's nothing special about it. Actually, it is special because I have some cool things, like physical things I want to show you. Maybe it's both. Maybe there's two megafauna for you today, Agathon. There's two. There's a moose in chat, and technically my username's Moose HD, so... Regardless, I really hope everyone's day is fantastic, man. Hope it's fantastic. That's fantastic. And, yeah. So, the title of this stream is called Sexual Cannibalism. And it's a thing. It's a thing. So, stick around. I'm going to get to it. And, I just want to warm up with chat real quick before I hop into my segments because I'm either going to fly right through them or they're going to take some time. But the only crappy thing about this episode, which there's not many crappy things, is I don't have any games. I like doing games, and I couldn't think of any games to make out of this. So, but I have some interesting stuff. I always like pulling things out of science. A lot of this is animals. I think it's all animals, but a lot of cool science things I like to make interesting rather than just like I don't know, lecturing. I don't like lecturing. I like this being a discussion. So keep on your keyboards if you want to make a difference in chat. I feel like that's my new catchphrase. Let's make a difference in chat because you guys are there. So, yeah. So let's hop into it. My first segment is, what is it? Hold on. Oh my gosh, did I really just get rid of that? What is going on today? Can you guys see slides or not? I just totally... What? Is it disappearing? I need to... Okay, I need to... We saw them for a second. A second, okay. How about now? Now do you see slides? I'm very confused. Very small Science HD in the bottom right. Yeah, that's the slides. Is it there now? Can I breathe peacefully? I almost feel like I need to see a... Sweet. It's there. Okay. Go before it goes away. All right. So first segment. Let me know if the screen's too small. I can make it bigger always. Bloody hell. Bloody hell. It's my first thing. I love titling these things. I just feel like it completes the show. Also, I made a new overlay for the top. It's more simple, less distracting, and a little bit more subtle. I like it a lot. Anyways, bloody hell. Bloody hell. Whatever, how British people say it. This one's cool. I wish Gas and Burn was here. He's always gets here late. But one time he got here early. That was cool. If he's out there and lurking, this is for you, Gas and Burn. Dedicated to Gas and Burn. A longtime viewer. Almost every episode, I'm pretty sure. But anyways, this guy. Now, this is a beautiful specimen called a horned lizard. And I'm excited to talk about this because, by the way, I wrote notes. I write notes before every show, and I read them on my iPad. Conserve paper, baby. And, yeah. So, horned lizard. These guys are not nocturnal. They're diurnal, and they have a pretty easy schedule, like a lot of lizards that live in desert, sandy areas, like southern United States, northern Mexico. That's where these guys live. And they basically walk around during the day, eat their things, and then they bury themselves to sleep. That's interesting. They're more docile than they look. They look like they would beat the living crap out of your fingers, but they're actually a little bit more docile than they look. And then they only interact with other horned lizards. I always want to say horny lizards, but I guess that works too. They only interact with other lizards during mating season, and I feel like that's common among a lot of animals. So this guy is not a sexual cannibal. So, yeah. So I might title the YouTube thing "Horny Lizards, Sexual Cannibalism," and one other thing. So yeah, these guys do hibernate in the winter, and they dig fast enough to use it as a defense mechanism. So they might dig fast enough so they could escape from a predator, which is kind of crazy to me. So I thought I'd add that in there. Now, another defense mechanism that they have is they puff up to make themselves look bigger when they're stressed or trying to intimidate other things, right? But that's not the interesting part, okay? If they are that stressed, these are the same dudes. I don't know if you've heard this before or not. Gas and Burn told me about this. I was like, oh, I've never heard that. I was like, oh my God, this is true. These guys do this. What is that, you say, Nolan? Nolan, what is that? Oh, yeah. This lizard is voluntarily squirting blood from its eyes to scare away prey. I'm going to repeat that. I'm just going to repeat that for the people in the back or the people folding their laundry while they're listening to this. This lizard can squirt blood from its eyes, bruh. It does look like a bearded dragon, yes, but a lot of lizards kind of do look like a bearded dragon. Like, if you ever look up chuckwalla, a chuckwalla looks exactly like a bearded dragon, but it's not. It's its own thing. So, but yeah, so horny lizard, squirts blood from their eyes and sometimes from their mouth, and they could squirt that about 5 feet max, and it's actually pretty effective. I should have saved this to the last segment, but it's pretty effective against their predators on the ground. But before I get on how effective it is and why, you might be wondering, Nolan, how the hell does a lizard squirt blood out of its eyeballs and mouth? How does it even squirt blood? Because it's not like there's a hole or anything. So that these horny lizards restrict blood flow in their head somehow. I don't know how. I don't know that specific, but I know that they restrict blood flow in their head, and that creates higher blood pressure, and then it makes their blood vessels pop within their eyes, and it squirts around the eyelids. It squirts blood. Trust me, if I saw this thing squirt red blood at me, I'd be backing away too. But also, let's say you're a wolf. That doesn't scare you too much. Well, if you taste it, apparently it tastes really bad to canines, like really bad, to the point where they just like run away, and it's like super effective, which is crazy. So like this thing will squirt something, and it'll hit its mouth area, or it'll smell it on the ground in front of them, and it will taste bad. Like, it just tastes bad to the canines. So it is very effective, but it's not effective on birds. I don't know why, but it isn't. I guess because they can come down super fast too. But it's not very effective on birds, and that's where they get got. So hawks, this is hawkward. But hawks, they will get you. They will get you. Horned lizards, they will get you. And that right there is bloody hell. Whoa, yeah. Okay. Let me know how you think about that. Whether you're commenting in the past, present, or future. Let me know what you think about that. Like I said, my beautiful co-host is not here this week because she is on vacation there. And I did ask. I was like, yo, so what should I put on Science HD since you're gone? And she had 2 requests. And so I incorporated those requests. And that's why I call this next segment Rose's Request. Now, I don't even think she's able to watch me right now. So I guess she's going to watch this in the past. But first up on Rose's Request, actually, this is what inspired the title of this entire stream. So if you're here because you saw sexual cannibalism, that may I have your attention, please. So she first requested this guy, a praying mantis. Everyone knows praying mantis. Everyone loves praying mantis, right? Or at least think they're cool on some level, maybe even scary on other levels. Or just cute or something. I don't know how many people don't like praying mantises. Yes, I'm wearing shorts. Don't even come at me. But everyone knows what these guys are. Now, I did not know these things until recently when I started looking into this, and it's kind of cool, all this information I'm about to tell you. I like to tell you things that I didn't know. Oh yeah, this is not lab ready. I was going to mention that. This outfit is not lab ready. Nope. Too bad I'm not in a lab. It looks cool from the top up. I'm wearing one of my favorite shorts. So, but anyways, so the praying mantis is actually native to Europe. So that means it's technically an invasive species, to the United States and everywhere else it inhabits, which is almost every part of the world. So technically, it's not supposed to be in America, and it's an invasive species, but it's been here for over a century. So I guess it's native, but it's technically native to Europe, which is crazy to me. I don't know why, but I feel like you never hear of too many animals being an invasive species that everyone likes. Usually they're like on a hate list of kill this thing if you see it because it's invasive. You know what I mean? Like a lot of fish, like sea lamprey in Michigan, like the Great Lakes, kill them because they're invasive. But maybe in like 50 years, people will be like, well, they've been here for so long and the ecosystem's fine. You know what I mean? That's what the praying mantis is. Mussels, zebra mussels, I'm pretty sure, or another type of mussels. Those are invasive as well. And some sort of Asian carp, I think. And then there's a new one in Michigan. I only know the Michigan one, sorry. Every other state, but maybe it's just a Midwest thing too. There's like some Japanese stink bug that's invasive too. And that one's actually more recent because I didn't see those as a kid. Now I see them all the time. But I'm pretty sure there's a lot. But yeah. I feel like Wisco and Michigan probably have super similar ecosystems. So I've only been to Wisconsin a couple times. So, but anyways, there's 15 species that belong to the mantis genus. And if that all sounds like Latin to you, it's because mainly it is. But to explain it better, there's 15 different types of mantis. So it's kind of like a family. And then they're just all different species. So like, what's a good example? It's almost like breed, but it's not quite a breed of, like dogs and stuff like that, but not quite. But anyways, the European mantis is what is most commonly known as the praying mantis. So that's what the praying mantis is. And here's the sad part. It's Connecticut's state insect. Now, good job, Connecticut. You don't even know how to name an insect that's from America as your state insect. SMH, my head. But yeah. Now, I think an interesting fact that's bizarre about the praying mantis is we all know, or at least a lot of people know, that praying mantis is like the females eat the males, right? If you didn't know that, raise your hand, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, the females eat the males after mating. And I've heard that they just like decapitate them and rip their head off after they mate. So like the dude mates with her and she tends to eat him. Well, I wanted to see if that's true or not, because I've heard that. And if you've never heard it, well, welcome to Science HD, baby. I basically discovered that the females are just ruthless. They're freaking ruthless. It is true. They will eat them after mating, and they will on rare occasions, they will eat them before they even start mating. So here's how it happens. I think this next slide. Oh yeah. A male is smaller than a female, like significantly. I think I'll show you a picture, but this process of a female eating a male after they mate, sexual cannibalism. Here we go. That's it. That's it, baby. Sexual cannibalism. That's what we do. I meant that's not what we do. That's not what we do. That's what it is. That's what I meant. That's what it is. Not that's what we do. That's what praying mantis do. So mantis. I don't know the plural for praying mantis. Praying manti. I don't know. But anyways, here's the female and the male. The bigger one's the female, the smaller one's the male. And of course, when you hear of sexual cannibalism, the first thing you think of is why the hell? Well, it's pretty simple actually. Uh, the female gets what she wants by getting eggs or producing eggs that are fertile, because the male will just attach to her back and sit there for up to 5 hours. These dudes are getting game for 5 hours, bruh. That's crazy. They're getting game for 5 hours. That's insane. So 5 hours, dude's getting game, and she's getting whatever game as well. And then the male will fall off, and he'll try to push himself away to keep a safe distance away from her. Now that doesn't always work, and the female will attack and eat the praying mantis, because these guys are carnivores. They eat other bugs, smaller bugs. That's why a lot of people like them. But she will eat that male, and the good thing, like, think about it like this: the good thing is she gets to feed her babies, or make her eggs stronger. Not even feed her babies, but she gets to make her eggs stronger, and that by providing nutrients. Jeez, I can't get my words out. But she gets better nutrients without having to hunt. It like saves work. It saves a step for her, and yeah, saves her a step. That's pretty simple. I mean, that's sexual cannibalism, baby. I guess that's the benefit of it, I guess. And I probably more than just praying mantises. And I know more species, or not species, animals do this. Like some species of scorpion do this, is what I saw, and then a black widow does this as well. So it's crazy stuff, man. It's crazy. So what's next? What's next on the menu? Sexual cannibalism is over. Oh, another thing I found interesting, other than sexual cannibalism. Never thought I'd be saying that, but a praying mantis only has one ear. And when you think of ear, you think of it being, anywhere near the head region. Nah. It is on the underside of its belly. And they can't distinguish where the sound is coming from. Like, they don't know where the sound's coming from when they hear things. But they can hear ultrasound. If you don't know what ultrasound, what do you mean in Miami? What the hell's going on in Miami? I don't know what you mean in Miami. But ultrasound is echolocation. So they can hear echolocation from bats, and bats are a predator for them. And they've actually been known to be mid-flight and then hear a bat and drop. So that's cool. They also have a really cool scientific name, Mantis religiosa, like religion. Yeah, I've not seen the Miami meme. I don't know what you're talking about. Damn. Every time I'm like, don't see a meme and someone references it, I always feel like a boomer. Even though I don't feel old. I don't feel old. I just feel like those old people are. You know what I mean? So, anyways, Mantis religiosa, praying mantis, makes sense. The next request Rose had, I don't know where it stemmed from, but I'm not mad because I love this. I love this. Killer whales. What? Killer whales are really cool. Simple as that. They're just like really dope animals. And the females can live up to 50 years usually. But not up to. They usually live 50 years. But they can live longer. They can live 80 to 90 years max. So I don't know where the variation is. Maybe in captivity or something. Actually, I doubt it because I think their lifespan gets lowered in captivity. But yeah, it's crazy. So, and then males, however, this is an insane part to me, usually only live up to 30 years, which is a 20-year difference, and up to 50 to 60 years, which is also a 30-year difference. So I'm like, What are the dudes doing that like kills them so bad? I guess, yeah, that's weird. But who run the world? Girls, I guess. And they have no natural predators. Ain't nobody trying to kill an orca. Also, welcome on in, Siren Dawn. Welcome on in. But yeah, they have no natural predators except for human beings, because human beings are dangerous and ruthless, just like a female praying mantis. And yeah, they are so big and ruthless themselves that they even attack great white sharks. And I'm pretty sure great white sharks don't really attack things that are much bigger than them, other than a dead whale. So I know a lot of sharks eat dead whales, but I don't think they attack living whales. So that's cool. There are 3 types of killer whales, by the way, or orcas, same thing. Oh, actually, first of all, before I get into that, did you know that this is not a whale at all? I knew this, but I'm just letting you know that this is not a whale. When you say killer whale, that's totally like a nickname. It's totally a nickname. I'll stretch. Okay, I'll get a stretch in. But yeah, when I say, oh, I needed that. Yeah, that's not a belt. I'm wearing shorts. Don't judge me. Once again. But I needed that stretch, thank you. They're actually dolphins. Sorry about it. Killer whales are part of the dolphin family. They are way more closely related to dolphins than they are to whales, which is insane. I'm always rocking this fit, except for last episode, because Rose and I had a long day last episode, so I was like, I'm not changing into the lab coat. But now I am, because it's great. I love talking in it, and plus I get to rock my bow tie, show off my bow tie collection. So anyways, 3 ecotypes is what they're called. There are 3 ecotypes of killer whales. Let's start with the first one. Resident killer whales. That's what they look like. They all look the same if you don't look closely, by the way. So it's cool. Resident killer whales have rounded dorsal fins. So like, see that fin on top? It's a little bit more rounded. And they're fish hunters. This is a big one. I think the biggest difference to identify them is what they eat. So these guys eat fish, primarily salmon, and yeah, they also live in a different part of the world than the rest of these types. Each type I'm saying lives in a different part of the world. Then there's variations within these types that live in different areas of the world as well. It's crazy, and this is all like super new information, I feel like, to the science world. A lot of it's super new, some of it's not so new, but it's relatively new in the aspect of science. So now the next type, my most feared type, are the transient. So you can see a little difference there. There's a nick on that dorsal fin in front, but the one in the back shows that they're more straight up rather than backwards. They're more straight up. That's a pretty good feature to identify them as. And these guys eat marine mammals. So like, if you see a killer whale eating a seal, that's these dudes. That's the transient group. And if they're kicking them around, eat penguins or something, that's the transient group. And it's crazy because like, most of these groups I'm saying do stick to their diet. It's not like they just are opportunistic to eat anything. No, they stick to their diet. And they also look different. They're almost different species, but I don't know. I think that might be up in the air. Last group is the weird one, I think. Oh, the the text fell off, I guess. Offshore is the last one. They're smaller. They have rounded dorsal fins as well, and they also eat fish, and they're not super different than the first group, but there is a difference. So they have this white spot on the back. All of them, all three, have white spots on the back, and their white spots vary based off which three. And so I'll show you a chart. I don't know how well you can see that chart, but basically residents have a saddle is what they're called, the white spot, with a gap in the middle, with a black gap in the middle. So it's like 2 white spots. Thank you for the follow. Oh my god, that'd be a cool redeem. Yes, I'll make that. But thank you, Sarko Phyllis Boy, for the follow midstream. That's nice. So anyways, the residents have a black spot within their white part of their back. Transients just have a closed one, and then the offshore, the weirdos to me, have a faded one. They're just weird. Everything about them. They're smaller. They have a faded patch. Their fin doesn't look much different than the other ones. They don't eat anything different, but they can still eat sharks. They still can eat sharks. So sharks do fall within the fish eaters, and they're not much shorter. It appears to be like by 2 feet. And the big bad boys are the transients. I feel like transients, don't mess with the transients. Don't mess with those transients, bruh, because they will get you. By the way, since I got to follow midstream, now's a good time to plug my Discord. I have a Discord I started a while ago, and then I met some cool people, and they wanted to start a streaming thing as well. So all 3 of us promote our streams on there, so we kind of like run it all together. So !Discord. Thank you, Siren. Or if you're interested in catching up on other episodes of Science HD, it is !YouTube. If you're watching live. If you're not watching live, find the links in the bios of everything I have. And we should be chill. Aight? Damn, what the iPod? The iPad. Oh, did I smack it? Sorry. I like the sound. I like the sound of when it like smacks. So anyways, I'm not done with killer whales. I'll go back to a good picture of one though. I like this picture. So killer whales, they are, to me, they're like really similar to wolf packs because they work as a family. They never kill by themselves, basically. They always work as a team to get their thing. And they're aggressive as crap. They will scare away humpback whales when humpbacks are trying to eat their fish. It's these guys, the residents, because they eat fish. They'll go, like, humpback whales will form a bubble net, which is how they catch their food sometimes. And humpback whales work as a team, and they swim in circles, and they blow bubbles out of their blowholes, and it goes straight up, and it scares fish, and they just swim in a circle in the middle, and then one by one they go up and follow each other, and then they each take a swig of fish and eat it. Now the killer whales might see that process going, these resident ones, and they will actually scare off the humpback whales, which are much bigger than them, and make them run away or swim away, and they'll eat the rest of their food. So it's crazy. But they are similar. I feel like they're similar to wolf packs just because of their system. They swim in a pod. It's not a pack, it's a pod. And yeah, it's cool. Now, the whole reason, or not the whole reason. Oh, by the way, there's 2 to 15 killer whales per pack, or pod rather. And each pod has a unique language, basically. And they learn their language based off the culture within the pod, and that's how they tell pod differences and which one's not theirs and stuff like that. I don't know how often they run into each other in the wild, but I'm assuming it's actually not that often because they stick to their own region of the world. They don't swim across the ocean. It's crazy. I don't know how they don't inbreed. I really don't know how they don't inbreed. That I want to know more, because I feel like there's some inbreeding going on, because they stick with the pod, so it's weird. But when Rose was like, Nolan, you should talk about killer whales, I was like, okay, let's do it. I was thinking back on videos of whales and killer whales getting beached. And I'm like, okay, whales and killer whales breathe air, right? They breathe the same we do, almost. They have lungs. They inhale with them and they exhale with them. But they can just hold their breath for an extremely long time. So I'm like, why do we need to throw buckets of water at them when they're beached? So like an animal, when one of them's on the shore and they can't get back in, why do we need to keep them wet? And I may be dumb for not knowing this, but I feel like it's not talked about at all. So when they're beached, apparently their skin could dry out, and then that can make them die faster. Or, for the case of the killer whale, their bodies are so insulated with blubber that they will overheat if they're not in water, because the water will cool them down. And I guess that's another reason why you might be like, wow, this water is freezing in Antarctica. This water is like super cold. I don't know how any animal's swimming in it right now. Then you see a killer whale swim by. That's how they're super insulated with blubber. Blubber is the answer, dude. Whales do the same thing. It's just their bodies work different. But regardless, that's why they need buckets of water on them. It helps. So, yeah. But boy, I love questioning something and getting the answer to it. That's just something about it, man. Something about it. But I appreciate everyone that's lurking and in chat and just watching and having a good time. Thank you for being here. I've already done self-promo, so I feel bad for keep it going. But this next one was a question I thought of myself, which is good because I feel like I need to keep questioning. And that's the cool thing about science is you don't really, this one I don't have an answer to. I'm going to end it on a question. And that's good because I feel like we're not used to that. There's always like, oh, I need answers. But nah, bruh. This is, yeah. So I was like, okay, wait, I'm gonna switch. I'm gonna switch to it. Human defense mechanism? So when I'm talking about animals, I'm talking about, or usually when I talk about animals, at work, when I talk about animals, I'm like, all right, this is what they eat. This is how big they are. This is how long they live. This is something weird about them. And here's one of their defense mechanisms. Yada, yada, yada. All right, let's talk about humans. This is how long they live. This is what they eat. I don't really need to talk about all that because we're humans, but like, what's a defense mechanism humans have, like, naturally? Other than punching. And then kicking, I guess, biting people, but that's like basic stuff. So I'm like, what's a defense mechanism? Yo, wait, how'd you know that? How'd you know we were doing that, Blue Nix? You guessed it. He said, are we talking about trauma now? So I'm like, all right, let me think. Oh, I constantly hear people saying when they experience trauma, they tend to like forget what happened at all. And in extreme cases, people do forget everything that happened and they're like confused. And if they're not confused, they have no memory of it happening at all. Maybe they might not even know that they were even there, which is crazy to me. And this could get deep as hell, because what if you like experience something and that was just so bad, your brain was like, all right, Control Alt Delete that shit, sign out, or restart computer. You know what I mean? And so I'm just like, what if your brain could do that and you literally have no idea? What if you had no idea? This is all what if. So does that mean you actually did it? Yes, but you don't think so. So, you know what I mean? So it's a very tough thing to think about, because you're like, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. Now, I looked into it a little bit, but I wanted to leave it more on a question because I don't really talk about psychology on here, and I feel like psychology is really tough because understanding our own brains is weird, and psychology is weird, and it's almost hard to like grasp if I don't study it, and I don't. And neuroscience is weird, so I have some neuroscience friends though, so that'd be cool getting them on here. Regardless, I think this is a good thing to point out for a human defense mechanism is it's called dissociative amnesia. Now this is extreme case only. It's not like common forgetfulness where, oh, I forgot to do this because it caused me sadness or something, or like I had a really bad breakup and I don't remember what happened that night, but I do remember this. No, I mean, like, this is extreme, and it affects about 1% of men and 2.6% of women from the general population. And then the environment definitely plays a role. This is the closest thing to neuroscience we got on Science HD so far, so I think I would definitely be interested in hearing more about this stuff, but I want to bring on some friends that study this in college and want to continue on with it. And I'm not even for like educating people, just like, yo, tell me something interesting about what you learned, because I want to know, even just on a basic level. But anyways, dissociative amnesia. The rates studied tend to increase in time of natural disaster and war. So I feel like it's the way that they're putting this up there is almost entirely environmentally based. But of course, it could be more. Blue Nick says, today, class, we're talking about trauma, and we'll start by going through an experiment. I thought you were going to say, bring on some friends who have trauma. Phew. Yeah, let me bring on some friends who had trauma. Thank you, DC, for the raid. Welcome on in, everybody. Welcome to Science HD. DC and I share a Discord server, unless he has a secret one I don't know about. But, yeah. I see you rocking that bow tie badge in the chat. Hell yeah. You can get a bow tie badge by doing bits, by the way. I'm self-promoting the heck out of myself. You have a good rest of your night too, DC. Thank you for the raid. And if you're watching on YouTube, benefits of watching live, baby. I do actually have a shout out thing, but I think only moderators can use it. So I'll just do it. There they are. There we go. And Siren Dawn. Siren's cool. I did a game show with Siren, and that is called Nerd Knowledge, and I am the current champion of that because they keep giving me science questions because they see that we're on Science HD. So check out Nerd Knowledge on Agathon's channel. Agathon was present in this chat. And here's some more spam for the chat. Go follow that man if you want to watch game shows every 2 weeks. So here's my stretch. Ugh, I'm sore, so this feels good. Let's go. Next week I should have a new emote. It's pretty good. It's the Frank the Tank emote, and you'll see what that means when it gets there. But anyways, back to Science HD. What is up? We're talking about sexual cannibalism today. We're talking about human defense mechanisms. We're talking about rocks in a minute. We talked about blood shooting out of lizards' eyeballs on purpose. It's crazy. Horny lizards. It's insane. So thank you for tuning in. Thanks for the lurks. Thanks for the raids. Thanks for everything. And for the sub. Appreciate it. Appreciate it, DC. So anyways, back to Science HD. So I have some stuff written. Yeah, people with dissociative amnesia tend to be confused and forget and in like a strange place when they're trying to remember things. And I don't know if it happens instantaneously or if it's like, try to remember this. And you're like, I can't. I know it. Maybe they're confused because you're telling them they were there. And I don't know. So it's confusing and weird. Just like a lot of just like a lot of psychology. Psychology is crazy, man. And then people make fun of all the psychology majors in college because they tend to be a certain stereotype that I will not discuss. But anyways, on to the cool segment. I'm going to scooch up because it is cool. So anyways, we're here with the experiment for the day. I try to have an experiment every week. Some weeks I can't think of any. Let me tell you a story though. So I was at my grandparents' house, which they're not like smack dab in the middle of the woods, but they're like near it. And there's this open field that's mowed and not natural. But I was walking that field, hitting golf balls, really short range, practicing my short game. And you know what I see on the ground? I didn't know at the time what I saw on the ground. And so I look at it and I'm like, oh, what is that? It looks like a snail, like an old snail. And then I flip it over. I'm like, that's not a snail, but I don't know what that is. It's just like one of those things you find on the ground and it just looks suspicious. It looks suspect and it looks unnatural, but it does not look like it's made by a human. So you pick it up. But I picked it up with my golf club because I'm kind of a germaphobe. And so anyways, I pick it up, put it on my car, return to it later, and I still don't know what it is, and it looks like this. I know you can't see it. I'm purposely showing it from this distance, so you just like are picturing it with me when I was looking at it for the first time, because if I hold it up close, I think you'll know. Anyways, it's just like this snail shell shaped thing, and it has a bunch of stuff on the inside, which I have since then hollowed out. And I post on my social medias, what do you guys think this is? A lot of people said bird beak. A lot of people said deer hoof. A lot of people said, I have no idea. But then I came to understand that it does look like half of a deer hoof. So I'm holding it from this angle because this is an angle you typically see a deer hoof in. And then I'll hold it up close like this. So yeah, this is actually a deer hoof I found on the ground. And then so I looked up how to take it out of the bone and everything. So what you're actually supposed to do is actually have the entire foot or leg, ankle, or whatever, and boil it. Now this was rotten and dead for I don't know how long. So it's not as simple when I looked it up on YouTube. It's not as simple for me because this is old. It was probably easier when it's fresh. So anyways, you boil it, you just shuck it apart and it comes off after you boil it because all the muscle tissue is loose and everything. Now I try boiling it and I try pulling it off like that. It doesn't work. Don't really want to touch it, so I use utensils. And then I boil it. Doesn't really work, so I leave it sitting in water for like 3 days. Only 3 days because I should have done it the next day, but I boiled this thing. I didn't put it in like a regular pot. I put it in this metal pan that you could throw away. It's disposable. So don't worry, I'm not ruining kitchen utensils with this disgusting thing. So anyways, put it in water to keep it soft. And then I reboiled it and got a knife. And I got a knife and it worked out pretty good. It wasn't super smooth, but it worked out pretty good. And I hollowed it out, cut the entire bone out. There was bone. It was cool. And I was like, okay, this is definitely deer hoof. And I got it hollow on the inside like this. Now there's still skin and stuff on there, but I boiled it for so long that I'm like, okay, all the bacteria is dead. Or at least I hope. Yeah. I should have just I eventually just was like, screw it, I'm touching it. And started going at it because it's easier because you can't really find a grip on this thing. Plus, it really wasn't that worth it because it's just a small little thing and it's only half of a foot. I found half of a toe, basically. So deer have 2 of these. You'll be able to imagine the others have, and that creates their foot. Then they have really small back ones. So I thought that was cool to share. It wasn't really anything. Oh, that was just a little side story. To finish off human defense mechanism. I know I'm bouncing around. It's nothing educational. I just want to leave you off with this. when talking about the human defense mechanism question mark, because I don't know if it actually is. Maybe we'll never know. I think that not everyone goes through dissociative amnesia, but maybe everyone has experienced a certain level of it, because I feel like with psychology there's always a spectrum of everything, and maybe people have experienced a certain level of something even just similar, so not the same thing but similar, and don't know it. And it could be as something like a bad breakup or abuse or a divorce or a child that has divorced parents or something like that. All that trauma, emotional damage. If that was a thing, I'm just speculating, man. So it's cool to think about, but I'm like, how often in your life does this happen to your brain subconsciously? On a less severe version, of course. And maybe you subconsciously forget a bad thing that happened to you, like way more than you know. So that's human defense mechanism. And as my treat, I have compiled a small gathering of images of certain noticeable faces that look confused, as if they are experiencing dissociative amnesia. Enjoy. I love you, Johnny Depp. Watch me get copyright claim. I don't even like Lizzo. Okay, anyways. Watch the view count go down. Yeah, that was human defense mechanism. Now the next one is, if you know the song, great. Can you dig it? Yes, you can. Can you dig it? Yes, you can. Can you dig it? Yes, you can. I'm gone. Go on then. That's a song by Tribe Called Quest. Highly recommend to give a listen. It's good. And it's called Can You Dig It? This is the final segment. You've made it. You made it to the final segment of Science HD for the day. And it's another story, short one. Last week, we cracked open a geode. Rose was here in this very room. And we both cracked open a geode together. We smashed it with a hammer that is nowhere near me. And here's our final result. That was episode 8 of Science HD. So if you want to check that out, just do !YouTube, click the link, and go watch it, man. We don't make any money off of those videos, so don't be afraid there's no ads. Yeah, it's really sparkly. It's really pretty. It looks like salt. I kind of want to lick it, but I'm not going to lick it. I'm not going to lick it. I just have like this fear of it being like extremely toxic, but I don't know, because there's a few things that are extremely toxic that I never knew until recently, like apple seeds. But I really want to lick it, but I'm not going to. Like, apple seeds have cyanide in them. What the heck? I won't know until I try, and I'm just slightly uncomfortable not knowing. Only slightly uncomfortable. But anyways, we can dig it. But Rose and I got that geode from a certain rock shop in Michigan. We're not from the city that we got it from, so it's cool. And I have rare visits, so I picked up another thing. And I saw a bag. It intrigued me. It's literally, this is their handwriting and everything. Fossils, $5. Not euros, $5 US. So I was like, here, take my money. And I actually only looked at these once before we started the show. And so it's kind of new to my eyes. But I was like, okay, do I either embarrass myself and look at them live with the viewers, and just be like, yeah, I don't know what I'm looking at, or do I like glance at these a couple times, get an understanding of what I'm looking at, and then look at them with the viewers? I chose the latter. Okay, Here we go. Rock number 1. So this one's really weird looking because it just looks like a rock. But if you look real close, you can see lines on it. I don't know how the focus is doing. I cover my face or something. There's certain lines on it. And that's what makes it a fossil. All of these are fossils. I'm going to save this one till the end because that one's my favorite. So this one's cool. Easy way of telling it's a fossil if it'll focus. Look at that indentation. At first you might think it's a tooth because yep, there's Blue Nick's Gramps. This is him. Really old. I don't know if your grandpa's dead, so I'm sorry in advance. It's more of a joke if you made that. That's bumpy, but inverted bumps, so whatever you call that. There's just a bunch of like holes. This one's a completely different like rock material than the rest. It's flat. I actually don't know what makes this one a fossil, but I'm thinking it might be dinosaur poop because there's yeah, I don't know. This feels like the same texture as dinosaur poop because I felt that before, buddy. Another rock. This one I like. This is how you know it's a fossil. I don't even know if you could tell once again. Take a look at that. Nice. It's basically got holes in it. Okay, this one's cool. This one basically has holes in it, but if you look a little deeper, it looks like ripples. If it will focus. If not, oh well, there's so many. There's so many to look at. We're looking at rocks, people. Okay, this one's nice too. And this one, I think I don't know how well you'll be able to tell on camera, but you can actually tell this was what it was, and I'll tell you because I think they're all the same thing or variations of the same thing. This one looks like, not gonna lie, it looks like a chode, but yeah, I said a chode. If you know what it is, congrats. If you know what a chode is, congrats. It's not an animal, but it is technically part of an animal. Try to hold it up to your other hand so it focuses more on your hand instead of the background. What? I don't know what you mean by that. This one's not really noticeable except for right here. See that? So close. So close. Oh my gosh, it's so close to focusing. Patience, 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 patience. I feel like I'm opening up. I mean, hold your hand in the background right behind it. Okay. So I'm going to do this. Ah, there we go. See that rippling? Sorry, I'm shaking a lot. I was working out earlier, or yesterday and today. And my arms are shaking from it still. This one looks like a normal rock, but there's some lines you can kind of see. Really, really hard to tell. Yeah, that one you're not going to be able to tell. This one, you will. I saved the best for last. Don't you worry. I saved the absolute best for last. Like, I feel like this one that I'm about to show you is literally what it was, just like turned to stone. Which, I mean, all of them are, but this one's in really good shape is what I'm trying to say. Like, the entire shape of it. It's not just like an imprint. It's like the entire shape of it. all of these, I'm pretty sure all of them, except for maybe this one. Yeah, it's not focusing that well, but there's not really much detail on it. I think are fossilized coral. So, fossilized coral, Nolan, what is that? Well, you know what coral is now? Yeah, it's just that, dog, but fossilized. There's a lot of Discord notifications popping off. Forgot to put streamer mode on, but that is my server popping off, so if you want to join, you know where to go. These corals look a little different than the ones today, but they're super similar, like super similar. And if you look at the chart as best as you can, because here, I'll even make the chart bigger. If you look at the chart as best as you can like that, and then you look at those middle ones that kind of, for lack of better words, look like sausages, the sausage turd shaped, poop shaped. I feel like, yeah, I'll pick two. These two. Because it looks like a turd and then it flattens out and ripples on the end. Very, very similar to how this one goes. Come on, man. Come on. You could kind of see the ripple and then those layers going down. And I think that's exactly what it is. Like, exactly. One of those three that look like turds in the middle. And I know you saw that. This one, you don't even need to see. I mean, it looks like the middle one. Here, I'll show you. It looks like the middle coral called Pachyphyllum. And that's what this one looks like. It could be any other one, but to me, that's what this looks like. And so I'll show you again. This is my favorite one because it's the most, like, understandable. Like, look at that thing. It looks like a moon crater dug out in a miniature scale. And so these are definitely fossilized coral. They never told me what were in here. It's like a mystery grab bag. So I didn't even look inside the bag. The bag was taped when I bought it. It was a mystery grab bag. I didn't ask, hey, what's in here? I just took it and ran. But I also paid for it. So I think this is cool. This is really cool stuff. Now, as for these other big ones, like the one I showed you that you said was beautiful, it looks like the ends of these corals. And it could be almost any of them. With this small of thing, it's really hard to tell. And then my next question arose. I'm gonna get more fossil mystery grab bags. I want to go back to the city before I leave for school again. There's my next question arose was, how old are these? And without proper instruments, scientific instruments and utensils and stuff like that, I can't really judge it based off of looking at it. I would need to like date it and do that. I don't even think it would be worth it since these are just super common and they probably already have these logged and stuff like that. But I researched some coral, like really old coral, and before I continue, I just need to put this out here, my conservation message. We lost 50% of coral that is present in modern day, 50% of it in the last 20 years. In the last 20 years, we have lost 50% of it. That's stupid terrible. That's absolutely terrible. And we're projected to lose more than 90% of all coral on Earth by 2050. So, congrats, humans. We are destroying the world we live in. And my grandkids might not be able to know what coral is. And this damn thing is the only thing they'll have. So, yeah, that's sad. But let's look at the old coral, because coral has already gone through mass extinctions and bounced back to what we have today. I'm going to get into, before I end, I'm going to get into Which one was it? Oh yeah, these two before I leave. But anyways, now coral, the oldest coral in the fossil record is 400 million years old. The Earth is 6.5 billion years old. So put that in perspective. Million, billion, there's a difference. Please know that. 400 million years old, 6.5 billion years old. I'll even emphasize the billion like that. And it evolved into modern. Here, I'll stretch. I'll do the stretch, redeem. Okay, it evolved into modern. Oh, yes. Thank you. Modern reef building corals over the last 25 million years. And you didn't have those until around, like, building reefs. Well, some people say it didn't start until 3 million years ago. So there's a little up in the air. But anyways, not a lot of people know this about coral, is that they can live up to 5,000 years. Like, they can live up to 5,000 years. I don't know how else to say that. Like, the coral can live up to 5,000 years old, which makes this the oldest living animal of all time. That's crazy to me. So it's crazy that we discovered that. Like, I wonder what the reaction was of those people that discovered that coral can live up to 5,000 years old. That's just nuts. Before I continue on this story about coral and how I'm going to relate this to other things, I want you to look at this bottom coral called Lithostrotionella. Lithostrotionella. Sound it out, babies. Sound it out. And you could see that the top looks like a bunch of craters mashed together with pointy things in the middle. But then there's a cross section as well. And a lot of fossils have that cross section that look bubbly, almost like a termite mound inside of a termite mound. That's what some of these fossils have. So, bubbly cross section. Here's one. Bubbly cross section. All right. Here's the bubbly top, like the crater-like top on a smaller one. I don't think it's the same one, but it's a similar coral. Come on. Focus. There we go. I know you saw that. Okay. And then lastly, I swear I had another thing. Oh yeah, this. Here's another textured one. Just similar texture. Sorry, I like rocks, man. I've already showed this one, but just wanted to show it again. Now within these rocks, there's also little bloom ripples. And so you could definitely see that was a coral, man. I love corals. So last thing is a kind of funny story. It also has to do with science. Here's another. Oh, this is what some people. This is an artist's interpretation of what those corals might have looked like millions of years ago. Looks really similar to what it looks like right now, and this leads into my story. What you call things that are like this, where it's fossilized and it looks similar to how it does now, like as the fossils do, is called a living fossil. Another example of this is this guy right here. So this is a coelacanth, and they call this the living fossil. There's not so many living fossils today, and these were thought to be extinct 65 million years ago. So around when the dinosaurs got extinct, because dinosaurs were extinct 66 million years ago. So they found this fossil. They're like, oh, look at this fish. Let's categorize it. Let's call it a coelacanth. And let's date it. Oh, man, it's extinct for 65 million years. That's terrible. Then one day, a marine biologist was on vacation in Indonesia. Or honeymoon, rather. Still the same thing. Weird place to have a honeymoon, but I will not judge. And he went to a fish market, as one does. And he was looking at the fish, and then he noticed this strange fish that looks a lot like this. And he was like, I'm going to have to tell some buddies about this. And so eventually they started asking around, and they eventually got to find where these fish live. And they live really deep in the ocean on a certain part of the world, so that's why they didn't know about it. And they figured out that it is still alive today. So I'm going to go back and forth with these images just to show you that it's the same fish. Of course, it's not the same exact one. But look at the features on the tails, those tail fins. Then on those dorsal fins and those ventral fins. Like, look at that. Look at those similarities, man. And so, yeah. Coelacanth is a living fossil because they actually thought it was extinct first. And then they're like, oh, crap. Look at that thing. All right. So that's a cool story to end it on because I love me some coelacanths. Yeah. So that's Science HD for today. Let me know how you liked it. I'm gonna put my rocks back. They rock. I'm almost certain this is dinosaur poop because it feels super similar to it. But the rest, I guarantee you, are fossilized coral. I bet you didn't know dinosaur poop was fossilized, and that we know how it looks and feels, and you could tell what it ate based off of that. Bet you didn't know that. We can talk about fossils all day, man. I'm going to keep this one out and stare at it. Thank you for the compliments in the chat by Siren Dawn. I feel like I rocked this episode too, especially for being by myself. I can ramble on all day by myself, though. I used to talk to myself all the time. It's a very healthy thing to do. But what's the line between schizophrenia and just talking to yourself? I want to leave you with that question. Where's the line? I genuinely do not know. I'm not saying I have schizophrenia or ever thought I did. I'm just like, what's the... Anyways. If you guys want to discuss anything in chat, talk to me. We can make small talk. If not, join the Discord, whether you're on YouTube or in the chat. Join the YouTube channel. Gotta support small businesses, local art, drink milk, I guess, unless you're lactose intolerant. Which, by the way, I need to look into this more. Did you know that being lactose intolerant is the normal gene and not being lactose intolerant is the mutated gene in humans? Crazy. Makes sense because we're the only animals on Earth that drink milk after once we're past the baby stage, you know what I mean? I wouldn't say sexually mature, but I have a friend you should meet that would make you question how close to the line someone can get without crossing it. Cool. We have an email, ScienceHD-Podcast@gmail.com. Even though this isn't a podcast, it was going to be, but I need a better quality mic. I mean, I have a good quality mic, but I need a podcast mic. I feel like I could probably get away with this one, but I want one where I can put my mouth on it and it not be bad. Yeah, let me talk to your friend. You can email me. I do want more people. I should have had a guest on this episode. So here's the update. Rose and I are going to live together, so it's going to be super easy to put up episodes together. Granted, we're going to be in school, but we're also going to be in the same apartment. So, easy money. Now, that's not going to happen until episode 15 of Science HD, so you can do the math there. We have episode 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We have 5 more episodes. So on the 6th episode from now, I think that's when we'll be in it. And yeah, it's going to be great. So be there. Join now. And then eventually I do want to make shirts, because at least for us, we want to make shirts. And then I think since we're just so small, if you want a shirt, we'll probably send one to you. Yeah. Trust system. And I love y'all. I'm updating Science HD. We're going to have different... I might update my channel. I might delete like the moose stuff. I'm not going to rename myself. I'm going to keep the moose in there. He's our mascot. That's what I mean. We don't have merch yet, but I'm just saying we're working on it. It's going to be really cool. We want to do a long sleeve. The first one is going to be like a long sleeve, and then a little, you know, like those shirts that have just an image right here. But on here, it's going to say Science HD on one arm. It's going to be cool. I like that. It's going to be like a Columbia shirt, but yeah. And then I want to make lab coats eventually, because I'm never going to stop this. I eventually want to have lab coats with this embroidered right here. Like, how cool would that be? Like an actual up to grade, you'd be able to like use it in a lab in high school or something. Lab coat. And then I'd use it too. And all it would say is Science HD. And then a little trademark thing. But I don't want to buy a trademark. It's not a business yet. Jeez. I'm not looking to make money right now. So stick around. There will be shirts. There will be shirts. So yes. Eventually. Give us time, man. We're both college students. We got to do that first. I'm in love with this. This is my favorite rock I've ever touched. Here's my second favorite rock. Because I smashed it in half. If you want to see that, go on the YouTube, man. I keep self-promoting. It's crazy. But outro time. Which is the same thing as the intro. But it's a good song. So here you go. I made it myself. I'm pretty proud of it. Adios. Have a good night. I love y'all. Thank you for tuning in.